I got out of my depression. Here's how. I'd like to preface that there are lots of ways to get out of a depression and get through a storm. But there's been one thing that has drastically helped me more than anything else I've ever tried. So here are my 4 biggest examples that have helped me out the most in the past 25 years of depression. As a kid, karate got me out of giant depressions. It made me physically active, and it was a healthy way to get out some of this aggression that I had. I was focused on things outside of my head. If I wasn't here, I was gonna get punched in the face. I had to be here. I was surrounded by all of my friends. And it seemed like in the matter of 30 minutes, 60% of all my anxiety and depression symptoms reduced. I felt so much better than I did just sitting in my room. Therapy has also gotten me out of a lot of depressions. There was this day in 2012, I was 5 weeks into the hospital. The day before, I was suicidal, and I even tried to jump out of the car that my dad was driving in the middle of the highway. Now, at the time I was working on these things called thought records, but it wasn't clicking yet. I didn't really understand how they worked or how they would help me. The next day, the therapist was talking about the thought record I made after I tried to jump out of this car. In this thought record, I wrote down something like, "You think I'm not trying. You think I'm not trying. You think I'm not trying." I wrote it down 3 times, and then I circled it. Now, my therapist just looked at me and said, "I haven't known you for very long. It's been a very short time, but from what I do know of you, you are working your ass off in this program. You're in graduate school. You're coaching Division I athletes. You're helping run a wellness center, and you're coaching a club team. You're doing this all while trying to have a normal life and help other people. I think you're trying more than anyone I've ever met." It was like I had this unhealthy perspective that was the knot, and she untangled it and showed me a healthier perspective. And as that unhealthy knot was challenged, I immediately felt better. So I went day before, moments before, feeling suicidal and depressive, untangling a knot, changing my perspective, instantly feeling better. Now, in October of 2015, I decided to try 1 whole year of Zen meditation. I felt like a year was enough time to see if it was working. And I did this because depression was creeping back in, the meds weren't working, the exercise wasn't having the effect that it was having. Just nothing was working, and I was feeling very disconnected. This is actually where I do most of my meditation, just right here, staring that way. I did a lot of headspace, I did a lot of different types of meditation, but the first time I did 30 minutes of silent meditation, just on my own with nothing else, no headphones, no nothing. I did it on a Zen cone out of this book here, The Gateless Gate, and it's called Joshua's Dog. Long story short, I convinced myself at the end of it I was a dog. My head literally felt like it exploded again. I realized that I am not alone. Everyone I've ever met is a part of me, and I am a part of them, even if it's just a memory. A memory of someone changes you, that impacts you and leaves an imprint on you, and memories or conversations I've had with other people create who they are. Even if it's just some dude who sold you some groceries at the grocery store, you had an interaction with that person, and they are now a part of you, and you are now a part of them, even if it's just a little bit. And that led me on to trying to disprove this realization. And that led me on this wild road of plants and animals, and that even my dog is a part of me and I'm a part of my dog, and every plant I've touched, and from the butterfly effect, I went down the rabbit hole. And I just realized we're all the same. Animals, plants, books, whatever. It's all just atoms and molecules, and we're just made out of atoms and molecules, and we're all just energy, and life just looked different after that experience again. I didn't feel so alone anymore. I felt very connected with things. Everyone and everything looked like a friend. I was reconnected. And now this brings me back to the last depression, the one I just got out of. Now, if you watched the last vlog, you know there was 3 giant issues I was struggling with. I want to solve this depression. I'm sick of fighting it. I can't believe I'm not farther along. I don't know how to make a living. I don't know how to make money with Team Hoot, and I don't even know what Team Hoot is. And am I just wasting my life? Am I failing at life? So here's what I did. I went outside with some classical music. I looked at the pool that started turning into a lake because we stopped putting chlorine into it. I looked at this fence being overtaken by plants. I looked at this spot in our yard where we had a fire, and the grass that was burned was getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It was really strange. It was like I saw life happening no matter what I did, whether I was trying to manipulate or control it or not. Life was just happening with or without me. Nature didn't need my help. And then I started looking at the whole human race and society. It's like the human race and society only control humans. Humans controlling humans, this whole situation. And then I thought about everything else. If we percentage this out, maybe humans are 1% of everything, with animals, plants, and the ecosystem and all that stuff being everything else. We're probably less than 1%. So we have 99+% of everything else. And if you were to go to a group and 99% of people were on one thing and less than 1% were on the other, you'd probably go with the group. Where animals and plants are the 99% that is working in unison as a whole, connected to everything. So I looked back at these 3 questions that I had, that I was struggling so hard to figure out. All these things and being here is that it's not that important. Nature wants the pool to be a lake, and if we stop trying to manipulate it, it becomes a lake. The fence becomes the forest. The hole in the grass fixes itself. 99% of life is going to happen whether Team Hoot succeeds or fails. And you can't fail at life. You're a part of life. And whether you live or die or succeed or fail, it's going to continue. That snapped me right out of this depression. Long story short, that change in perspective is that one thing that works better than anything else I've ever tried. I've gotten a change in perspective through exercise, I've gotten there with therapy, I've gotten there with meditation, and I've also gotten there just by hanging out in nature, trying to work things out in my head. Now I say this every week, but depression makes you feel trapped and alone and disconnected. And it makes you feel like there aren't any options. I'm a prime example of you're never trapped and there always is options, and I've been through in and out of these storms long enough to know that an option or an idea or a different perspective will always come up. And if you can't find them, let me help you. Get a hold of me. Life is meant to be experienced and curiosity will get you there. I'll see you guys next week.